Hey guys, and welcome to what is the very first instalment from the all-new channel, the Non-Sport Collective, bringing you box breaks, interviews, and all kinds of wonderful stuff from the non-sport world of trading cards. We will bring you box breaks, as I've just said. I will be bringing you these box breaks, but we do have our in-house interviewer, which will be Tim Shay. You may all know him from the sketch world, the art world. You may even have some of his work in your collections. But as this is the first interview, and I will be interviewing Tim Shay, I did have to step in to do this first interview because, of course, Tim Shay cannot interview himself. Even as talented as the man is, I don't think that would be very good, interviewing yourself. So I did have to step in for this one. So please do say hello, Tim Shay.
Hello, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And as I say, Tim will be taking over all the interviews after this one, so you will not have to put up with my annoying British accent. You will get a nice, pleasant American accent to take you forward into the future of these interviews. Okay, so let's get straight into it and start the interview with the legendary Tim Shay. He did pay me to say that, so please do forward that money to my
You take PayPal, right?
Later, Tim, that would be fantastic. Well, so why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and basically how you got into art and what got you interested in it?
As far back as I can remember, I was always interested in art. I was always drawing something. I started when I was younger doing just graphite sketches, and most of my life I worked in just black and white only. That's what I liked, and it was what I was good at, so I just always did it. And I was inspired by various artists when I was a kid, mostly MC Escher. I just loved anything MC Escher, and would collect, find books and postage stamps and anything I could, calendars, shirts, anything MC Escher. And I loved his work, even though I don't draw anything like him. It just always motivated me to do better. And the older I got, then I started to do some commissions for friends and family of other black and white work. And then when I realized that these things called sketch cards were existing and people were getting paid for it, then I knew I had to try that. And I sent out some samples to Breygent and Rittenhouse for Dexter samples and some Marvel samples, and was lucky enough to get invited to work for Breygent on Dexter Season 3 and Marvel sketches for Rittenhouse. Both the same month invited me with a really quick deadline, so went from doing no professional work to a lot of professional work all at once, but it really pushed me to up my game.
Excellent, yeah. So you did have to obviously do a bit of canvassing work yourself, get yourself out there, get yourself noticed before these companies did actually contact you. Was that difficult to make them aware of you first off?
I just found the contact information. I'd send it to some of the wrong people first, so I would get a couple responses just saying, hey, this doesn't go to me, bro. It goes to somebody else, and then I would forward it to the right person. But once I got a hold of the right people for each company, then I just kind of checked in with them once in a while and, made sure they knew I was still around and motivated if they needed me. And eventually they did say, hey, we got something. If you want to do it, give it a shot. And I did.
Excellent, yeah, so they do have a very good eye. How long have you been in the sketch art world now as contracted work?
Since about the end of 2008. I think that's when I started working for both at the same time, and then from then it just have been lucky enough to get invited back to several sets for various companies, so it's been pretty busy since 2008.
Well, it's very good to say you've been going that long and they still come back, so obviously you are doing something right.
I hope so. At least, yeah, I try my best.
Excellent. I mean, what is your preferred medium to work with?
That's one of my main kind of things that I got over like a hurdle in my career was, like I said, I started doing graphite work, and not only did I like doing black and white, and I could get, I like to do realism, so I wanted to make it look lifelike, but I was always kind of afraid if I did color, I couldn't do it. I see people do color work, and to me it was just like, wow, that's awesome. Too bad I can't do it, But when I did my Marvel sketches, I had submitted graphite scans. They wanted to see the first 5 to see if I was doing good enough to stay on the set. So I sent him the scans of the first 5 cards, and they wrote back saying, these look really cool. When are you going to color them? And I about had a heart attack because I thought, that's it, I'm done, I can't color. So I went and got some markers and some pencils and started playing with it. Then I finally got a blend of coloring that I could deal with, and I had a good friend that I met on one of the Rittenhouse sets, Goonie Tunes, he was known as. He's a tattoo artist from Australia, Zane Donnellan. Super cool guy, super talented. And we talked once in a while, and then he started sharing with me how he did skin tones and different things, and I finally found a recipe that kind of worked for me that I've stuck with, and now, instead of graphite that I kind of relied on my whole life, now I prefer color, because it's a little more challenging to find things that you can make look lifelike and make something really come alive with color, so I really like that challenge, so now that's what I prefer over graphite.
I do own a few pieces of your work, and obviously I've seen some of your commissions of late as well, and the colouring is very good. So I would say you've definitely nailed it. Let's say with the colouring work. Recently, the Women of Marvel Series 2 set is one set I really got involved in regards collecting art. And as you know, I did pick up quite a few of your pieces of art from that for the 9-case incentives. Mm-hmm. What was it like to be asked to be the 9-case incentive for that set?
That was pretty cool. The incentive artists for Marvel sets is always kind of a lofty position, at least from my perspective. It was always like, wow, that's cool, to be an incentive artist. There's a little more pressure involved, but it just seems really cool to have that kind of title. I was lucky enough to be chosen as the incentive artist for a couple of Breygent sets previously. I think Dead World, I believe Grimm. I'm not sure about Dexter 4 was very rare, but there's a couple of Vampirella Series 2. So that was always an honor for me. But when I got invited to do the Marvel one, it was just kind of more of a respected position for those sets because there's so many artists. You've got I don't know, like 150 artists on some sets, artists from all around the world, so it's always like, who are they going to choose to be the incentive artist? And I got a call from Robert Kolbus asking if I'd be interested, so I definitely jumped on it, and they divided it up between me and Veronica O'Connell, who's a really good artist. So to me, it was a big honor to do it, even though there was a lot of pressure, and these were larger pieces, so it took a lot of work, but I was pleased with what I came up with, and hopefully it was well received. Yeah,
very, very good. I must say, every single one I have, I really do treasure them, and as I'm sure other collectors do who have been lucky enough to actually acquire one. Did you enjoy working on those 9-case incentives, and on average, how long did it take you to complete one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and for me it was a change because usually working on sketch cards, they're trading card size, 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, so that's the challenge, to get it that small. So these ones were uncut stock, so basically it was like 4-piece puzzles all in one. So it was a little larger surface, which makes it a little easier to get realism on it because you have more room. So I could do more, full figures on some of them and try to get a little more detail. So I had a lot of fun making them kind of come to life, and I think they came out pretty good. So some of them I liked better than others, but I tried to make each one something that if I was a collector and got it, that it was something that I'd want to keep and not just flip it and sell it to make money. So hopefully that was the case with most of them.
How long did it take you to complete one on average, roughly, do you think?
Probably around at least 6 hours. Some of them as many as maybe 10, 14 hours. Some of them, the larger ones with a lot of detail, I go really slow to try to get it to have the look that I want it to have, so I go back and forth with different colors and different layering, so at minimum 6 hours, maximum maybe 14 hours.
So because a lot of people who collect the art don't always realise how much work does go into a piece, so it's nice to know how much work has gone in, and by the sounds of it, a lot. And there were 50 pieces in total that you did for that?
Correct.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of work went into that, but you can tell you did take your time with them because each one does look amazing. Now, what was your favourite run of sketch cards that you have worked on so far?
I really like gory stuff, kind of monsters and demons and things like that, so I have a lot of fun when anytime there's a lot of blood involved. I kind of have fun with that, just trying to make things that are dark and gory, kind of beautiful in a way. So those to me are usually the most fun. But I really like working on sets of topics that I enjoy to watch. So when I do like Grimm and American Horror Story and Dexter and things like that is really fun for me because it's something that I try to draw a scene that I really enjoyed, and that way when somebody pulls the card, it's something that they can kind of connect with and remember like that moment of the show or the movie or whatever it was. So I have a little more fun with those, I think. So it's a little easier to get motivated and to come up with cool moments to draw because you have a connection to it.
I think most people have probably seen a lot of the art you're talking about, and again, it does look really, really good. And by the way, I will say, during this interview, you have probably noticed watching the YouTube video that there is art scrolling along, and of course, this is all Tim's art, so if you are not familiar with Tim and you like what you see, you can always hit him up on Facebook, Twitter. The links will be in the description below, guys, so please do just look below and you will see the links to contact him if you want any commission work doing. If Tim has the time, I'm sure you do. Tim, do you have the time?
I always have some commissions going, so even if I'm full up at the time, then I touch base with people and try to keep in contact with them so they know as soon as I have a slot open, then I can start working for them. So I'm always willing to discuss another project.
So if people just click that link, they can discuss with you, and then you can talk with them about when the commission can be done. They can also, of course, ask for their own scenario, whichever character, whichever backdrop they want. I'm sure you will take that all on and do your best for them.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, great. So please, guys, do click those links. Tim will also tell you exactly where you can get in contact with him at the end of this interview, guys, so please do stay tuned, as he will be telling you all of those links and different places of where you can contact him. So let's carry on with the interview. So going forward, Tim, is there anything else you would like to accomplish going forward, obviously in the future, that you haven't really done yet? Anything new or any information you could give us?
Well, I've done one cover for a comic that's yet to come out yet for a book called Cutter. I really enjoy doing that, kind of pushing yourself to do something that would catch people's attention when they just walk by a stand of books. So I always see awesome covers from different artists that I really admire and respect. So that's something I'd love to take a shot at for a known book, is do a cover and just get that under my belt and try. It seems like a big accomplishment, and someday I want to give that a shot.
That's great. That sounds awesome, Tim. Also, is there any other area in the art world that you haven't hit upon yet? Something new you would like to learn, maybe?
I really would like to get more in learning some digital work. I've only tried a little bit here and there and haven't really mastered it and found anything that I'm comfortable with. But I really respect artists that do some brilliant digital work like Serge Baralt, Adi Granov, Stepan Shaic. I probably destroyed the pronunciation of his name, but there's some digital artists that are just my jaw drops every time I see their work. So I'd really like to learn to do some digital work, at least for backgrounds. I like how Adi Granov blends traditional art with digital work. I would really like to do that and be able to use that not only to save time on certain projects, but to expand, what I'm capable of.
Yeah, excellent. That'll definitely be something to look forward to, guys. And you, of course, heard it first here on the Non-Sport Collective. Is there any information that you can give to any aspiring artists, any amateur artists, maybe some tips of how to get more successful in the sketch world? And basically, if they need any tips on drawing, just polishing up their skills, is there anything you can give to them?
Yeah, I see a lot of artists, in different art forms and things where people are trying to get their foot in the door. It seems like people get a little frustrated when they don't hear back right away from somebody they've contacted. So I just would say, be patient and don't give up. You don't have to be annoying, but don't be afraid to remind people that you're there and send them samples occasionally, and just realize that some companies, the contact you're dealing with is maybe one of a few guys for the whole company dealing with several sets and many artists, so they might not be ignoring you, it's just they might be swamped. So don't get frustrated and just keep plugging yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going at it, because it can be a little off-putting if you don't get that phone call, and some people might just try once and maybe they don't want to make a nuisance of themselves, but in this case, I think you just need to keep going at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing I have noticed, that these sketch cards do get a lot better as time goes on. When these sketch cards did first get introduced into trading cards, they were a little bit, let's not say as good as they are today, but the sketch cards, the quality of the sketches, they do get a lot better. Is that a requirement you get asked by the companies, or is it just something that has naturally progressed?
I guess it kind of depends on the project itself. Some projects lend to the need of likenesses, like say if you're doing something that involves a TV show and you're doing actor likenesses and whatnot, then it's going to go and have to get approved by the station or channel, and then also the agent for the actor, and a lot of times the actor themselves. So you're going through a lot of levels of approvals. So in that case, you really have to be spot on with your work. Some of the older sets, the licenses weren't as strict, so somebody could draw a really loose pencil sketch, but as time has gone on, I think not only companies have wanted to push it more to get a little more detail, but I think the artists also see what their, co-workers are doing and trying to push themselves. I know that's what I do when I see good friends that are working on a set, and sometimes we'll even, kind of see what the other one's working on, and it's like, wow, that's cool. I need to push myself a little better because you want to be one of the better ones, and it's a good motivator to see how well people are working. So I know for me, seeing how good things progress on each set, it makes you want to do a little better. And I think any good artist sees their work that they did several years ago and think, wow, that kind of sucked. I can do better, and keep pushing it. I see some of my older work, and it's like sometimes almost embarrassing because you've learned tricks and different tools to use, and the hobby benefits as time goes on because artists find better ways to do their work and get a better result.
Well, it is great that there is that natural progression, and artists, not negatively, but they are competing with each other to try and show off in a way, aren't they?
Absolutely.
They're trying to show that they can do this or they can do that better, and that can only be a good thing for the card collectors, really, and of course the artists, because it does progress their abilities.
Definitely, I agree.
So that about wraps up this interview. Thank you very much, Tim. And before we do wrap this up, is there anything you want to plug? Of course, you have to plug your work. Are there any websites, Facebook pages you would like to tell all of the fans out there about?
I'd say the best way to follow my work would be Facebook. My artist page is Tim Shay Sketch Art. It's got the most up-to-date posts of my work, and sometimes I do a lot of work in progress pics there. TimShay.com is my website. I'm on Twitter and also Instagram, Tim Shay Art. And DeviantArt, I do have a page, Dr. Horrible, but it's not as up-to-date as my other stuff. So I'd say either Facebook or Twitter or Instagram would be the most up-to-date.
Excellent. And like I say, if you do want to contact Tim about any commission work, I know Tim does have a few artist-proof cards as well. So if you do like the artist-proof cards, just hit Tim up and see exactly what he has in his possession. You will not be disappointed. So I would like to thank you very much, Tim, for taking part in this interview. Of course, we will be hearing a lot more from you in the future, as you will be doing all of those interviews. So please do stay tuned, guys, as we will be bringing you as many artists as we can, and of course people working within the non-sport world, anybody, not just artists. We will try and get as many people as possible, so it should be very entertaining going forward. And of course, as I say, I will be bringing you those box breaks and any other concepts we do dream up. We will bring those to you within time. So thank you all very much for tuning in to this. And Tim, do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you very much for the interview, Darren, and the support. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to doing some more interviews for this channel.
Excellent. I look forward to it as well, as I'm sure all of the fans do as well. So thank you all for tuning in to this interview. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do stay tuned, as we will bring you a lot more, and I hope to see you all here next time on the Non-Sport Collective.